Feel the fear and do it anyway. It is about this topic that I would like to discuss with you today, and how important it is to transforming your mind, transforming your awareness in such a way that we begin to more naturally become the person that we desire, that it becomes more natural, more instinctual for us to feel at ease in our bodies, to feel more confident in the way we speak, to have a better flow of ideas on a regular basis, to show up more authentically in our relationships as we desire. Because, and this is why this quote is so important, of feeling the fear and doing it anyways. The reason this is so important and so pivotal to this process is because when you begin this journey of transformation, when you begin this alchemical process, the first step in that alchemical process is the Nigredo, or the blackness. The blackness is understood as the massa confusa, or the mass of confusion. So in the beginning of this process, there was going to be this mix of emotions, this torrent, you could say, where we feel unsure of ourselves, where we feel confused, as though we cannot see the next step forward or don't know the next step forward, the best next step. And it is this that I want to bring to you, that is a totally natural and, in fact, a necessary step in this process of alchemizing your limiting beliefs to become truly who you are, that is, who you desire to be. Because over time, we store the patterns, the narratives and the beliefs, the thoughts, the thought patterns that we've been identifying with. Okay, time and time again, we store those slowly into our subconscious mind through this process of repetition, just continually keeping those thoughts in mind and identifying with those thoughts, though we may not have been conscious of doing that, and we did not understand our power as a conscious creator. I think of the quote by Henry David Thoreau, which is that to make a deep physical path in the earth, you must walk that thought again and again, and to make a deep mental path, we must think again and again these same thoughts we wish to dominate our lives. And in the previous video, we discussed, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich and the self-confidence formula. And a part of that process is repetition of autosuggestion of these ideal beliefs, because through that process, that's how we create this change over time, because that is also the process of which we've gotten to this point where externally you're seeing conditions that aren't ideal, and you want to change those. So how do we change those? Well, you tune into the now, into the present moment. You can take a deep breath into your body. And in taking that time, okay, you can see where you've come from. You can become aware of these beliefs with which you've been identifying. Okay. All the while cultivating a vision for how you'd like to move forward, what you truly desire, because that is who you truly are. And so now we're stepping more into that version of ourselves. But because we've been identified with these limiting beliefs, these suboptimal beliefs, these thought patterns, that is stored in our body now. So it is a part of the process that when you begin to put yourself out there in creating content, when you begin to ask for more money, when you begin to start dating, okay, searching for that partner, that ideal partner, it's going to be totally natural to have these feelings of uncertainty, doubt, fear cropping up, confusion. These will all crop up. It's part of the process. And so the point of those is not to meet them and say that because I'm feeling this, I am not ideal. Now, I think this is something that a lot of people can get confused with when they're looking to change their mind, when they're looking to become a conscious creator, is that if they're not feeling ideal 24/7, or they're not able to do away with, let's say, these suboptimal feelings, then they feel like they're not doing something right, and it inhibits them from taking action. It inhibits them from continuing to move forward in their vision. When in reality, it is a part of the human experience and a totally natural part of the process to feel these emotions. Okay, you could say these emotions of force. We've talked a little bit about power versus force. These lower emotions of fear, anger, guilt. You could put confusion in there. Shame. You can notice those. Notice them in the body. Okay, identify them, feel them, realize the narrative, realize the thoughts and the beliefs that are attached to those, because your thoughts create your feelings, and those feelings determine your behaviors, and which is, again, everything that you experience and everything that's manifested up to this point is a result of who you have been, for better or for worse. And so you can notice what's in your body and how that's been stored there. Okay, what are the thoughts attached to that feeling? And you can see that, and you can accept that. Surrender to that. You can surrender to that. And say, it is what it is. I accept the present moment exactly as it is for everything that I'm experiencing in this moment. And that gives you the power. That gives you your energy back in a way, because you're taking your attention now off of those limiting beliefs, because you now have an idea of the way forward. You now have an idea of and a knowing of who you truly are, because you've made that clear to yourself. Okay, by feeling these lower emotions, let's say, being able to feel them, be still with them, and to help them, or allow them to help you, guide you to the ideal way of being, okay, to what we actually want to create in our lives. So going back to this notion of feeling the fear and doing it anyways, you can notice those times in those situations when you're starting to take action and start to act in alignment with who you truly are. And you can notice those old programs coming up, become aware of them, all the while not allowing them to dictate who you truly are, who you profess yourself to be, because that is your power, and that is the agent through which this stage of Nigredo enters into the albedo, okay, and then into the rubedo. In alchemy, you have the blackness, the whiteness, and the redness. So in this process of feeling the fear and doing it anyways, and walking through that confusion, and plunging ourselves into the dirt, into the mud, into what is confusing, what is dirty, it is in that filth it will be found. That's a alchemical dictum, that in the filth will be found what it is you truly desire. Okay? The obstacle is the way. The impediment to action advances action. So you notice those things that are not necessarily congruent with your vision and how you're showing up, but recognizing that that is who you have been in the past, and you can shed off that layer, you can shed that conditioning through this mindfulness, through this awareness of who you truly are, of feeling those emotions arise, okay, or noticing when you're starting to feel overwhelmed, burnt out, when you feel like you're running out of ideas. You can notice those moments and realize that they are a product of patterns, thought patterns, that you no longer have to identify with. And you can now turn your attention, allow them to turn your attention to the ideal way of being. the true way of being. And that takes you again from the Nigredo into the albedo, the whiteness. And that purification process of mind can continue. So feel the fear and do it anyways. Feel the fear and do it anyways. That fear, that doubt, that apathy, that confusion, that overwhelm, all right, those are all helping you and aiding you in realizing your vision. They are a necessary piece to the process, and I just wanted to give you that encouragement today in this video. So thank you for being here. If you'd like to work with me further, there's a link in the description to a coaching application. Also, you can check out my free subconscious reprogramming masterclass. The link is also in the description, where I go into depth, to further depth of this 3-step process of awareness, acceptance, affirmation, this AAA framework for reprogramming your subconscious mind, which we've discussed a little bit of today, so you can check that out. Also, check the link for joining the community, where we delve a bit further into these topics of mental alchemy, as well as discussing a wide variety of topics such as holistic health, optimizing your health, your mindset, your relationships, your business, and being able to network, create connections with others. Also, being able to share your wins as well as your trials, and helping others who are also in that process and who are learning just as you are and who are succeeding just as you are in that process. We can reflect back to and through one another. So check that out as well. Thank you so much for being here. Sending you so much love. So grateful for you. Until next time.